If you had lived through the 1970s, you would have witnessed one of the most dramatic decades in modern history. It was a time of enormous change. America celebrated incredible achievements while also facing some of its greatest challenges. The decade began with astronauts walking on the moon still fresh in people's memories, but it quickly became an era defined by political scandals, economic uncertainty, technological breakthroughs, unforgettable music, and historic sporting moments. Families gathered around television sets every evening to watch the latest news. Newspapers carried headlines that people discussed at work, around dinner tables, and in neighborhood barbershops. Some stories brought hope, others brought fear. But together, they shaped the world we know today. Today, we're taking a journey back in time to revisit the biggest stories of the 1970s, events that changed America and, in many cases, the entire world. Let's begin. The Vietnam War comes to an end. At the beginning of the decade, the Vietnam War continued to dominate headlines. For years, American families had watched the conflict unfold on their television screens. Thousands of young men had been drafted into military service. Protests filled college campuses across the nation. The war divided public opinion like few events in American history. Finally, in 1973, the United States officially ended its combat role. 2 years later, in April 1975, the fall of Saigon marked the end of the Vietnam War. Images of helicopters evacuating people from rooftops became some of the most recognizable photographs of the 20th century. For many Americans, the war left lasting emotional scars. It also changed how the country viewed future military conflicts. The Watergate scandal. Few political events have shaken America more than Watergate. It began with what appeared to be a simple break-in at the Democratic National Committee headquarters in Washington, D.C. But investigators soon uncovered a much larger story involving illegal activities and attempts to cover them up. As evidence mounted, public confidence in government declined dramatically. Television broadcasts carried hours of congressional hearings into living rooms across the nation. Millions of Americans watched history unfold in real time. Then, in August 1974, something unprecedented happened. President Richard Nixon resigned from office. It marked the first and only resignation of a U.S. president. The word Watergate has since become synonymous with political scandal. The oil crisis. Imagine driving to your local gas station and discovering there wasn't enough gasoline. Long lines stretched around city blocks. Drivers waited for hours. Some stations simply ran out of fuel. That's exactly what happened during the 1973 oil crisis. Following tensions in the Middle East, several oil-producing nations reduced exports to the United States. Gasoline prices rose sharply. Many states introduced odd, even rationing systems based on license plate numbers. The crisis forced Americans to rethink energy consumption. Large cars became less popular. Fuel efficiency suddenly mattered. The automobile industry would never be the same. The birth of personal computers. While many people were focused on politics and economics, another revolution quietly began, the computer revolution. During the 1970s, computers gradually moved beyond universities and large corporations. Companies such as Apple, Microsoft, and others began laying the foundation for the personal computer industry. In 1976, two young entrepreneurs named Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak introduced the Apple I. It looked simple compared to today's technology, but it represented the beginning of something extraordinary. Very few people realized they were witnessing the birth of a technological revolution that would eventually change nearly every aspect of modern life. The disco craze. Not every story of the 1970s involved politics or world events. Some centered around entertainment. Few trends defined the decade like disco. Dance floors came alive with flashing lights, mirror balls, and colorful fashion. Artists such as Donna Summer, the Bee Gees, Gloria Gaynor, KC and the Sunshine Band, and Earth, Wind, and Fire dominated radio stations. The 1977 movie Saturday Night Fever, starring John Travolta, became a cultural phenomenon. Disco wasn't simply music, it was a lifestyle. Nightclubs flourished, dance competitions became popular, fashion changed almost overnight. Although disco's popularity eventually faded, its influence continues shaping dance music today. The rise of blockbuster movies. The way people watched movies changed forever during the 1970s. In 1975, Jaws terrified audiences around the world. Its enormous success introduced Hollywood to the concept of the summer blockbuster. Just 2 years later came another film that transformed cinema forever, Star Wars. George Lucas introduced audiences to a galaxy far, far away. Children collected action figures. Adults stood in long lines outside theaters. Special effects reached entirely new levels. The success of these films forever changed how Hollywood made movies. Blockbusters became the industry's biggest priority. Sports heroes capture the world. The 1970s produced some of the greatest athletes in history. Muhammad Ali regained the heavyweight boxing championship. His famous Rumble in the Jungle against George Foreman became one of boxing's greatest moments. In tennis, Billie Jean King defeated Bobby Riggs in the Battle of the Sexes. The match became a landmark moment for women's sports. Baseball fans watched Hank Aaron break Babe Ruth's long-standing home run record. These athletes became symbols of determination, equality, and excellence. The environmental movement. Another major story emerged during the decade. Americans became increasingly concerned about pollution and protecting nature. In 1970, the very first Earth Day was celebrated. Millions participated. Schools organized educational programs. Communities planted trees. Congress created the Environmental Protection Agency, known today as the EPA. Environmental protection became an important national conversation. Many of the environmental laws still in place today began during this period. The energy of television. Television reached new heights during the 1970s. Families gathered together every evening to watch popular programs. Shows like All in the Family, MASH, Happy Days, Charlie's Angels, The $6 Million Man, and The Waltons became cultural touchstones. Television didn't just entertain, it reflected American society. Many programs addressed serious topics including racism, war, poverty, and changing family dynamics. For many people, television became both entertainment and a mirror of the times. The music that defined a generation. The 1970s offered something for everyone. Rock music flourished with bands like Led Zeppelin, Fleetwood Mac, Queen, and the Eagles. Singer-songwriters including Elton John, Billy Joel, James Taylor, and Carole King dominated the charts. Country music gained enormous popularity. Motown continued producing unforgettable hits. Punk rock emerged late in the decade, preparing the world for a new musical era. Many of the songs recorded during the 1970s remain classics today. Why the 1970s still matter. Looking back, it's remarkable how many changes occurred in just 10 years. Political trust was tested, technology entered a new era, popular culture evolved dramatically, movies became bigger, music became more diverse, television became more influential. The decade also taught valuable lessons about resilience. Despite economic challenges, political uncertainty, and global tensions, people continued moving forward. Innovation never stopped. Creativity flourished. Communities adapted. Many of the technologies, entertainment industries, and cultural trends we enjoy today can trace their roots directly back to the 1970s. Conclusion. The 1970s were far more than just disco music, bell-bottom jeans, and classic cars. They were years of transformation. A decade filled with unforgettable stories that reshaped America and influenced the rest of the world. From the end of the Vietnam War and the Watergate scandal to the birth of personal computers, blockbuster movies, and environmental awareness, the events of the 1970s continue affecting our lives today. For those who lived through the decade, these stories bring back powerful memories. For younger generations, they offer a fascinating glimpse into a world that laid the foundation for modern society. Now, we'd love to hear from you. What do you remember most about the 1970s? Was it the music, the movies, the television shows, or one of the historic events we discussed today? Share your memories in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey back through one of history's most fascinating decades, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join us for more stories celebrating the music, memories, and unforgettable moments that made the good old days so special. Until next time, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in our next trip down memory lane.